505 yards in 3 playoff wins. But in the last 3 years, he has more wins than anyone not named Patrick Mahomes. So it seems like they're at odds. Here's Sirianni on his quarterback.
Man, this guy wins. I mean, he's won his entire life. Like, that's more important. You know, winning at quarterback is more important than any stat that you go through.
Hello, quarterback wins.
I've always said,
W's.
Wild, that if you were an NFL coach, you'd be Nick Sirianni.
Well, sure. Who's got the most wins?
Incredibly
Number 1,
irritating,
Mahomes.
but
Number 2,
effective.
Jalen Hurts being in the Super Bowl for the ultimate quarterback win. Anybody reaction?
Can I? 'Cause you really should be the one to talk about this. I think this is what's true. If the team wins, the quarterback is basically immune from criticism for that game. However, winning the game should not guarantee or demand praise for the quarterback's play. So we'll take the original quarterback wins argument was about Jimmy Garoppolo on this show.
Please don't, bro.
No. Brew. I think Brew will agree with me here. When they were winning those games, it would have been unfair to be like, but Jimmy should have done more because they won.
Yeah.
But just because they won those games did not mean Jimmy's played great in that game. Right. And so so where the pushback that I think you get from me, the NFC Championship game notwithstanding, because he was great in that game, was I don't look at it as the team won, therefore the quarterback played great. I look at it as the team won, therefore how the quarterback played is not as nearly as relevant as if they lost, and then we can dissect it. As opposed to a binary, they won, therefore the quarterback did all the right things. That's the point I'm making.
I think that is fair. However, I think that the fact that he has the playoff record for taking care of the ball, no interceptions, that just gets thrown out. No one cares about that except me. We've seen playoff game after playoff game turn on a quarterback being loose with the ball. And Jalen Hurts makes it priority numero uno. Don't turn the ball over. And if that takes some of his stats down, doesn't matter. If it takes some of his attempts down, doesn't matter. He knows how to play winning football. But because that depresses all of his numbers, like, I don't know, 11 for 19 in a win over the Ravens. 118 yards.
Real quick, isn't it?
I don't know.
Hold on, hold on. It's the playoff record, right, is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So it is relevant that in that streak, first of all, they have lost twice, and second of all, he did
one
have
of them was in the Super Bowl.
Where he turned the ball over.
So he shouldn't. Then he's like, I shouldn't do it.
No, okay, but
going forward, he doesn't.
Since the Super Bowl, I haven't done that.
I do think here's the thing too, Nick. Jalen Hurts is not Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm not disrespecting. He's got Trent Dilfer or something. Like, he's better than those guys. Like, I think he's right.
100%.
So it's not, there are guys you kind of win, I don't even want to say in spite of, but they don't do much. They kind of get carried.
I think in spite of
He's
is fair
helping to carry the team, helping. He's not the main guy. They got a ton of talent. So in his case, it's wins. Like, Terry Bradshaw didn't have phenomenal numbers. He won 4 Super Bowls.
But the numbers.
They ran a lot. That was a run-first team with Frank O'Hare. I get it, but they were still a run-first team. Troy Aikman, not the greatest numbers, run-first team, but they're legends. Patrick Mahomes' last 2 years, his numbers haven't been phenomenal, but he's winning. So if Jalen Hurts wins this Super Bowl, he's going to be minted. And not like a Trent Dilfer of those guys.
Of course, it's a Super Bowl win, and he's playing a part. But when you look at this team, like, I don't think it's disrespectful to say, and please hear me, like, he is, if you were to poke holes at this team, offensively, he is
the
weaker of the links.
Okay. The segment ends there and goes into more nonsense. I just don't believe what we're doing here. I feel like I am in Groundhog's Day. Nick, throughout this entire season, when Patrick Mahomes was objectively playing bad, he was averaging over an interception a game. for the first like 7-8 games, whatever it was, he kept saying Mahomes is great. Mahomes is great. He's winning. This team is undefeated. Hasn't lost since December. Blah 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 blah. And kept using the win-loss as a reference. Constantly uses the wins-losses on head-to-head matchups against Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar, whatever. And now when you're saying, oh, well, if your keeps winning, it doesn't mean that you automatically deserve the praise. But yet when it has to do with Mahomes, he gives all the praise to Mahomes. Weird. Then points out that Jalen Hurts played great, where most unbiased people will say that he played better than Patrick Mahomes. Oh, but he turned the ball over. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 5 interceptions in 4 Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes literally just a couple days ago on Sunday fumbled the ball and turned the ball over. If Josh Allen then went down the field and scored, if his receivers could actually just catch the ball and they end up scoring a touchdown there and winning the game, do you think Nick Wright would have said, oh, they lost the game because Patrick Mahomes fumbled the ball? No, I don't think so. This continues to be nonsense. Absolute, utter nonsense. This whole offseason, all Nick did, and many other people, were just rip Jalen Hurts for his turnovers. Rip him. Now he doesn't turn the ball over. Nothing. Crickets. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We keep changing the rules, guys. We keep changing the rules. It's why you have to look beyond the box score. It's why you have to look beyond just wins and losses. It's why comparing quarterbacks head-to-head in matchups like this don't really mean anything. They're not playing one-on-one basketball. It's like these people, they just can't play by consistent rules. It's insanity. It's literal insanity. Sean, if you're watching this clip, Sean is someone who I talk to in the comment section a lot. We're friends, by the way. We've become virtual friends, not like, real life friends. I have a lot of respect for him. Me and him have we've battled a lot. We've gotten in fights. Things got a little too heated, and then we talked it out and hashed it out, and I have respect for him. It's always all in love, truly. So when I use this as an example, I'm not calling you out. Let's just get that out the way. But I said, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes had similar games, in their playoff game this couple days ago. And he said, yeah, well, Patrick Mahomes had more touchdowns, total touchdowns. So they won. And I'm like, last year, Josh Allen had more total touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes. And the Chiefs still won. And in the 13-second game, Josh Allen literally had more total touchdowns going in at the end of regulation. And then in overtime, obviously, Mahomes got the ball and Allen didn't. And then it ended up being equal total touchdowns. Not to mention, Josh Allen has more total touchdowns, year by year by year. But, okay. So we keep trying to twist these rules that we're trying to play. Jalen Hurts balls out in the Super Bowl, has one of the greatest performances in Super Bowl history. Again, it's not an opinion. It's a fact. It's a literal fact. And you want to say, yeah, but he turned the ball over. Well, they lost the game. Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl throwing 2 interceptions. Yeah, but he played great and they won. Yeah, his defense only gave up 20 points? He had threw 2 interceptions. His team only gave up 20 points. Yeah, but he played great in the 4th quarter. Jalen Hurts played great for all 4 quarters. But his defense didn't only give up 20 points. Patrick Mahomes was objectively bad in this game. 26 for 42, 286 yards, 6.8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 4 sacks, and a 78 rating. But his team held the 49ers to 20 points with Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. Here's the Eagles. Super Bowl. The Eagles defense gave up 38 points. 38 points. He threw for 182 yards and rushed for 44 and only had 3 total touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 4 total touchdowns, 70 yards rushing, 304 passing yards. I don't even know what to tell you, man. I really don't. It's just so backwards at this point. It really is. In the last year's Super Bowl, again, the Chiefs defense only gave up 22 points. 22 points. Patrick Mahomes threw an interception, one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. And he fumbled the ball twice. Fumbled the ball twice. But his defense was able to hold their own. And he went up against Brock Purdy, who Nick thinks is an awful quarterback. I just want to know why we want to keep twisting things. That when the stats favor what we say, we use them. When the stats go against them, we throw them out. When wins serve our argument, we use them. When losses or wins from an opposing team don't serve us, we throw it away. It's hilarious that the people that actually challenge me the most, more than anyone else, are actually Kansas City Chiefs fans and Mahomes fans. And they obviously love things like what Nick Wright says. And it's so funny because they say that I'm inconsistent or that I'm this and I'm that, when I am the exact opposite. And the person that they love, who they say speaks all the truth, does the exact things that they claim that I do. It's actually quite poetic. It's very familiar to movie like a Fargo movie, like a Coen Brothers movie. If you ever watch any of those movies or any of those types of movies, like No Country for Old Men, stuff like that, that's actually exactly what it is. We're living in Fargo. I'm not out here trying to argue that Jalen Hurts is this all-time great top 3 quarterback, etc., etc., etc. I'm not saying if I'm starting a team, I'm taking Jalen Hurts first. I'm not saying that. I'm just not. But there's just no nuanced discussion about any of this. It automatically reverts to him being a bad quarterback, not a good quarterback. And the problem with what Greg said was like, well, if we have to pick a weakness, Jalen Hurts is it. That's framed in a way that makes Hurts look like a problem, when in reality, it's just because of how awesome this team is. It's like me being friends with a bunch of, billionaires, and my net worth is $800 million. I'm technically the poorest one. Technically, out of our inner circle, I'm the poorest one. Don't mean I need money. That's the problem when you form arguments like that. Would the Eagles be better if their quarterback was better? Yes. Would every single team be better? Would even the Kansas City Chiefs be a better team if Patrick Mahomes was a better quarterback? Yeah. That's what happens. When you improve the quarterback play, your team gets better. That's how important it is to be a quarterback. If Tom Brady was technically better, the Patriots would be even better. And you always elevate when your quarterback is better. Always. Like, it's not possible. If you're a better player than what you already are, no matter how great you are, you will be better. Your team will be better. Like, that's not even controversial to say, but I'm sure people will still try to be like, you're saying Patrick Mahomes is better? Yes. For every single quarterback, if you're a better player, then your team is better. Like, it's actually a pretty straightforward comment. And this is exactly what I was pushing him against. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. Sunday, I was dreading this week. I'm very honest. I absolutely love making these videos. I do. I am so grateful. I've already said like my whole thank you video in my head at the end of the season like a million times. And I'm always like, I hope people watch it, because usually when you do a video like that, like people don't watch it. And I'm like, I want to be able to convey to everyone just how grateful I am. And I've done it throughout this season, saying like, I absolutely love this. I am so grateful. I have nothing but gratitude. Nothing. I feel like I won the lottery. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. I have nothing but insane gratitude. Anytime I ever even think of a negative thought, I go, you better not think that thought. You better not think that thought. Your literal dreams have come true. This is everything you want. But I literally laid in bed on Sunday. But I knew when the Eagles were playing the Chiefs, I was like, we are going to have the worst conversations about this game. And I just kept thinking, how do I find my way through it? How do I have interesting conversations? And then again, I hated myself for even being upset about it, because it was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, a tough day for you is like, you have to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Are you kidding me? Do you know what your brother has to do for work? He's got to go install garage doors in the bitter freezing cold for commercial massive properties. Like, are you serious? I'm like, you're complaining? And I'm like, I know. And it's one of those weird, tough things, right? It's always like, oh, don't be so upset. There's starving people in Africa. Like, it could always be worse, which I try to embody. I really do. Gratitude is the best attitude. But I literally was just laying in bed Sunday night, and I was just like, how do I find this? How do I create videos that are interesting? How do I move past stuff like this, where this whole week we're just going to talk about how good is Jalen Hurts really? Because that's what they did every single week. And now this guy's in the Super Bowl, man. The second Super Bowl in 3 years. The first Philadelphia Eagle to go to multiple Super Bowls. Only the 5th player to reach 2 Super Bowls before the age of 27. And these are the conversations. And they gloss over him having an awesome game against the Commanders like it was nothing. When the whole week everyone talked about how bad his knee is. How the Eagles are in trouble. How if he can't run, then he's going to be forced to throw, they'll be in trouble. And so I literally was just like, how do I work through this? Because I was also trying to think of like, what do people want to hear? Do people, like what do they want? Because I want to create content that people want to hear. I see this as a very shared experience. But I had to lay in bed. I watched The Batman, the one, the newest one, because I just needed something like dark and gritty with Robert Pattinson or whatever his name is, Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I was like, I just need grit, man. And I was just like, dude, Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl. This is gonna be box office, and you're like angry. Like what is going on? And then Monday, before I had to record any clips, because I just knew this was coming. And it's not like I'm a super genius. It's very obvious. And this is what we see. And the obnoxious thing is win or lose. It's a lose-lose situation for Jalen. If he wins, nothing to do with him. This team is just so good. And if they lose, it's I told you so. Jalen's not good enough. He's just not good enough. I don't know. I do not know. I'm grateful to be able to make videos like this. Because one, I enjoy it. And two, I enjoy combating false narratives. I enjoy helping shape how these conversations should be had. Not what is 100% correct versus what is 100% wrong, but where the conversation should be led to. What conversations should be had and how they can unfold. Because I just know this is not the way through it. This is not the way. And it's just wrong. And downright insulting. It's just downright insulting. It really is at this point. Imagine a quarterback who's going to multiple Super Bowls. The only quarterback in the Patrick Mahomes era to do that, by the way. I think the only quarterback outside of Mahomes to do that. And we're just somehow saying, let's just have conversations about how good is Jalen Hurts really? This is the nonsense. This is the nonsense. And again, look no further than in the same division as the Philadelphia Eagles. Look at the Dallas Cowboys, who have those 12-win seasons. People say that Dak Prescott's a top quarterback in the NFL. A top quarterback. Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning head coach. Dan Quinn clearly proved that he's special. Micah certainly loved him. And they win 12 games. People argue Dak Prescott's an MVP candidate. Not only is he an MVP candidate, he should be the MVP. Nick Wright's calling for them to go to a Super Bowl. And yet they come up short. Every single time. Every single time. Jalen Hurts now has the same number of Super Bowl appearances as Dak Prescott has playoff wins. And you can't say, oh, it's because of the team, because you guys told me that the Dallas Cowboys are a better team. Like that's what you guys are telling me. That the Dallas Cowboys have a better roster, a better team, a better quarterback. And the quarterback is the most important position out of all this. So then why do the Dallas Cowboys come up short? What is it? You can't have both things true. I always say that multiple things can be true, and they can. But this scenario that I just set up, how could it be true then? You can't have it both ways. You can't say that the Cowboys are a better team, that they have a better roster, and that's why they're winning those games, and that Dak Prescott's, a top, quarterback in the NFL, and an MVP, and predict that they're going to the Super Bowl, have them not even make an NFC championship game, have you say that the Philadelphia Eagles are not that good, that Jalen Hurts is not that good, that the coaches are not that good, and yet now, when they make the Super Bowl, you say it's because of all the things that you said that they were not good at. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? Did the Washington Commanders turn the ball over? Yes or no? Yes. Did Jalen Hurts? No. Did Matthew Stafford turn the ball over? Yes or no? Yes. Did Jalen Hurts? No. Did Jordan Love turn the ball over? Yes or no? Yes. Did Jalen Hurts? No. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about this endless loop, this Groundhog's Day that we are just on and on and on about the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts, and it's just like I don't even know. Just insert any negative quote, comment, take about Hurts, the Eagles, Sirianni, you know, whatever it is. The team that's going to the Super Bowl. Oh my God, the Eagles are literally going to the Super Bowl, and you would still think that the Packers, that the Lions, that the Cowboys, that like every other team is just better than them. The Ravens are better than them. Oh, but the Eagles beat them head to head. Okay. I mean, Tom Brady himself called the Ravens a sleeping giant, and yet then the Eagles beat them. Funny stuff. Funny stuff. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.